take on a Newcastle Knights team that, like so many other sides in the Optus Cup, are still struggling to find their very best form. And Paul Vaughton, night games at Marathon have not been kind to the Knights. 7 games yet to record a victory, and a major blow tonight with State of Origin rep Adam Muir out of the team.
Yeah, Pete Adams out with a knee injury, which he copped last week against Canterbury. A good replacement though in D.Treacy. He's their leading try scorer in 1996, Treacy. And also good news that Paul Harragon, their captain and leader, he is back on the side. He'll add some much needed starts up front. Canberra, Peter, they've been really struggling when they've played away the last few times. Brisbane, Manly and also Parramatta absolutely walloped the Raiders. I think they won't get walloped tonight, but Newcastle, through the Johns boys, will be far too strong.
Well, I think it'll be a close one. I think Newcastle will win, and it is an important game for both sides. Newcastle in 5th spot, the Raiders 11th going into round 14 of the Optus Cup. They need to consolidate in that top 8 spot. So for the clash between the Raiders and the Knights, we go to Ray Warren.
Well, thank you, Peter, and Paul Harragon takes the Knights out to be welcomed by a monster crowd again. He set a record here against Manly in round 17. I'm not saying it's up in that proportion, but I'll tell you what, there are plenty here. There's the team for tonight. O'Davis, Grogan, Godden, Ainscope, Beecham, the 2 Johns brothers, Glanville, Treacy, Marquette, Harragon, Jackson and Butterfield, and the coach, of course, is Malcolm Reilly. One of the key players, Matthew Johns, his brother Andrew. They may well carry the destiny of Newcastle tonight. One of the veterans of the side these days, Paul Harragon, back from a weekend out last weekend against Canterbury. And the Englishman Lee Jackson just exchanging a word with him. Now Laurie Davis. Here comes the Raiders. And listen to the reception. Winners over the Sydney City Roosters last Friday. The away record doesn't look all that brilliant. And let's go through to the card now. Mullins, Nagas, Fullervine, Wiki, Nandruku, Daly, Ferris, Kennedy, Furner, Hetherington, DeVico, Walters, Pongia. Coached by Tim Sheens. On the sideline, Steve Roach, good evening.
Yeah, I'm down here with Ricky Stewart. Ricky, good performance from your side against Eastern Suburbs last week. Should stand him in good stead for tonight. Magnificent crowd.
Yeah, we got home late in that game, Blocker. Probably a very handy 2 points for us, but what we need is to put a couple of wins back-to-back, and this is a very important game for us tonight, considering our place on the table. So a couple of wins back-to-back. A little bit of consistent football from the guys is what we need at the moment. Well,
the other big worry would be your away record hasn't been that good this season. Was that a worry during the week?
Yeah, it's been spoken about quite often, and you know, it has been spoken about in our preparation this week, and it's very important that we do start knocking up a few games away from home, because we don't want to be sort of labelled that we're only Bruce boys.
Right, mate, thanks very much for your time.
Block.
Thanks, mate.
David Manson, the man in charge. David Furner to start. One of the season's big clashes. It's underway. Newcastle to bring it off their own line in front of a crowd of probably around 30,000. They work some plays around the dummy half area, with Robbie O'Davis coming away with the second of those. The 5 is Beecham. And now for Glanville, been with the club since its inception. Good bumping run by Butterfield. Doesn't ask for any quarter. Now back for the kick off Andrew Johns' boot. A young man that has been talked about as the #1 player in the world today. Nandruku goes back and across. Canberra get their first touch of the ball. Nagas, who scored that nail-biting try for Canberra in the last seconds of the match last Friday. Ben Kennedy in the run-on side again tonight, and forced down and back by the Newcastle defence. From Walters now, finding Quentin Pongia. Out on the Canberra 40-metre line. They really must win tonight, Canberra. Walters is wrapped up and put away. Marquette the 11, Butterfield the 8 making the tackle. And then Daly puts it on the right foot. It's out on the full. That brings a roar from the Novocastrians.
Very rare mistake there from Laurie Daly. I was about to say a safe start from both teams. Daly rushing into dummy half, pushed Quentin Pongia out of the way. It sailed into touch on the full as Andrew Johns darts out of dummy half, goes centre field. Knights 45 out from the Canberra line.
Played back then for Jackson to go off to the right where Glenville with a stampeding run. 28 metres out from the Canberra line now. For Jackson to work to the left for Andrew Johns to let Butterfield go, and then Matthew Johns, he got a mongrel of a pass from his brother. He did well to take it. Now O'Davis goes off to the right for Ainscough. Ainscough is wrapped up, centre of the park. Andrew Johns taking the pass from Jackson right on the ad line. Jackson was out of form early in the season. It'll be interesting to see how he goes tonight. Matthew Johns with a big bomb. Up they go, down they come. It's a try, I think. Watching the in-goal judge. He said no try. Robbie O'Davis it was.
Yeah, Robbie O'Davis claimed the try. A great kick this one. O'Davis flies high. Comes down. Does he control the football and ground it?
Absolutely not.
Fair decision there. Good decision by the in-goal touch judge.
Great ruling by the in-goal men. Kennedy now. Treacy playing in 16. Hetherington to the halfway. Harragon draped around the legs. And now away from Ferris to go wider for Daly. And then out wide we find Furner running in the centres. Daly on the halfway line. Back for Ferris to keep it low. But out there, almost in a mid-wicket position, was Keith Beecham.
And the kicking game so far from Canberra, not what the doctor ordered. Laurie Daly out on the full. That time Ferris didn't pick up much ground at all and found Beecham on the full. So again, the Knights in good field position as Andrew Johns looks for Harragon. Takes it over the halfway line, met by Steve Walters and Luke DeVico.
Jackson then picking up Marquette, and Marquette is able to gain about 7 more metres for Newcastle. No score, early seconds, nice dummy half work by Jackson. They probe for a hole. Treacy's lost it in the tackle.
A little set play around the ruck there by the Johns boys, and the inside ball to Treacy. A nice tackle, and the ball comes loose as Treacy hits the deck.
And that's exactly the role that Adam Muir plays in this Newcastle attack. They put the crisscross on the fringe of the ruck, a little bit wide, and Muir is normally the bus man. But Treacy, fortunately for the Knights, can step into that role pretty adequately.
Daly was pointing at the Newcastle backs, saying to the referee they're well inside the 5. And he's still not happy about it as Furner gets it beyond the 30-metre line. Daly is not impressed with Manson's interpretation of the 5 metres at the last scrum on the 40-metre line then. And Canberra come back and use a second man play on the fringe of the ruck, and Hetherington is put away. Now they're about 7 metres from halfway as Walters goes out to Ferris and then for Daly, and then short pass for Fullerby, but his pass is over the sideline. No chance for Noah.
And a consoling pat on the back there from Laurie Daly. Pretty ordinary pass, this one, from Fullerby, looking to pick up his winger, but he was hit at the same time as he tried to pass it by Ainscough.
We neglected to point out the fact that Albert Fullerby is another replacement player. He's in 21 in the centres for David Boyle. Boyle, the Jason Croker look-alike. They're both missing. Of course, Croker breaking his arm last Friday night. Some major injury problems this season for the Raiders as Ainscough dummy half to Glanville on to Paul Marquette, hitting a great tackle.
Ruben Wiki peeled off several of them against Sydney City last Friday. And this is Butterfield wrapped up by his opposite number, Pongia. Penalty goes to Newcastle. A roar from the crowd, as you would expect. Mark Kent still blowing up about a tackle earlier on him.
They're not leaving anything behind, are they, the Newcastle forwards? They're all running so hard. Treacy, Glanville, Harragon, Marquette. Good stuff by the Newcastle.
Oh, Andrew John. Long pass out for Mal. Oh, it almost worked to precision.
And it was Albert Furner who came up with a great tackle on Robbie O'Davis. As Ray pointed out, the whole of B.Peden O'Davis, who's a tremendous support player in this night's lineup, is hit in a tremendous cover defensive tackle by Furner, and he gets congratulated by his captain.
That play went within an ace of coming off. For Newcastle, they've had all of the territory as Mandruku was put down by Ainscough. Daly comes away from dummy half, and Ainscough from marker makes the tackle. Now Hetherington. Walters this time. Dummies to the open side runner. Picks up Furner back on the blind side, and Furner with a struggling run out on the 40-meter line now. This is DeVico. No score, though Newcastle have had all the territory. And now it comes away for Ferris to try and clear with some respectability. O'Davis brings it out beyond the 30-meter line. So even that is not bad field possession. Playing it back to Brad Godden, who got an Australian jumper back in 1992. Playing in the centres tonight. Jackson then offloading for Treacy, and Treacy takes a battering from the Canberra forwards. About 8 metres from the halfway line. That is Beecham. John sending it down deep. Canberra scampering back via Mandruku. And now he tries to step around Ainscough.
I think that Coach Malcolm really would be impressed with Jamie Ainscough's involvement in this game so far, as a high tackle on Brett Mullins will be penalised. Paul Harragon patting on the shoulder saying not too much to it. A definite penalty here, and this will relieve the pressure for Canberra. Harragon made first contact.
Steve Roach, apparently there's some concern about Andrew Johns, one of his knees.
Yeah, he keeps calling to the sideline. It's his right knee. It's he's had that problem for a few weeks now. He keeps calling to the sideline for a bit of strapping. They just went on and give it a bit of a rub. So he's limping around the field at the moment.
He also went in very awkwardly to make a tackle 5 minutes or so ago and came out limping, and I don't think he's recovered since then. He got a pretty nasty knock in an awkward position.
Good tackle,
Pongia there on the 40-meter line, and now DeVico. The two front rowers have both taken it down the sideline on the right, and now cross for Daly. Daly gets between them. Daly looking for runners, gives it back for Andrew Johns. He had support looming, but Johns got in the road. Brett Mullins was on the outside of Daly. That would have been shut the gate. Jackson now.
And in retrospect, you've got to say that Brett Mullins was by far the better option. As a penalty here for Newcastle once again. Laurie Daly gives himself an uppercut. Darren Treacy slipped over. That opened up the hole. And you'll see on the right-hand side of Laurie Daly, Brett Mullins. And he's flying along. Although I think Lee Jackson was in the way.
Now Newcastle opting not to take the kicks, and that probably comes back to the Andrew Johns injury. 20 metres out from the Canberra line. And the Johns brothers put it together. That ball has been deflected forward originally, the referee is saying, and then deflected back.
And Malcolm really disappointed about the fact that Newcastle aren't controlling the football. Is there a knock on there somewhere?
I don't think, well, yes, I'm sure there was. In fact, it came off the Newcastle player and then it came off a Canberra hand. And that's what he ordered. He ordered a knock on both ways. So Canberra, they have the loose head and feed, and Nagus 25 metres out from his line. Canberra have been domiciled in their own half since kickoff. They've been here for 11 1/4 minutes. Now they make another mistake. And referee David Manson puts down another scrum. 11 minutes gone, no score at Marathon Stadium.
This news update brought to you by Gregory's Honda, Phillip.
Friday night football, soon to be joined by Monday night football. Oh, a smashing tackle, and the Newcastle player. The Newcastle player is injured. It's Matthew Johns. The tackler is Brett Mullins.
Well, when I saw the tackle, I thought it looked like a real good, solid ball and all tackle. Let's see what it... right around the head. And Mullins knew as soon as he went into it, he got him.
Yeah, in Mullins' defence, he did come up off the shoulder area.
You can see the concern there.
So Newcastle, in many ways, Matthew Johns is back on his feet. Newcastle in many ways are doing a Brisbane. They refuse to take the kicks at goal. Glanville turns it back. Jackson sweeps it across. Andrew Johns gets it away. Treacy loses it. Ainscough kicks it. And the referee is penalising Canberra.
Yes, Darren Treacy was held back. He was the support player on the outside of Andrew Johns. The referee ruled that the Canberra player had hold too early. This time they are opting for the kick from Andrew Johns, 20 metres out, 13 in from touch. A little bit of a hole opens up because Fullerby's gone up quickly, and he's the man who grabbed onto Darren Treacy.
And there was plenty of Newcastle players left over out wide, wasn't there? This time, though, lovely pass there from Andrew Johns. And the last 4 times they've had the football, they haven't really controlled it, and they've turned it over. This occasion now, they're having a shot at goal, though, with Andrew Johns.
I just think they look like they've been trying a little bit too hard down there, Paul. They're panicking to a certain extent, and maybe, 2 points here will settle it down, give them a small lead and settle into their rhythm a little bit better.
So Andrew Johns, 15 metres in, 20 metres out, and there it goes, perfectly between the uprights. They are the first points. The crowd is happy. They lead 2-0. Andrew takes the 2 points. And I'm just wondering whether it was that knee injury that saw them opt against the earlier attempts, or whether in fact that was always the plan. Let's go for broke on them early. Newcastle haven't won a night football match of a Friday since they entered the league.
And the first interchange of the night sees B.Hetherington, the player, replaced for Canberra. A little bit of concern there about something around the hand. And David Westley in 15 has gone on for the Raiders. He's playing in headgear, which is a little bit unusual for Westley.
Just adjusting that statistic, of course, that is at Marathon Stadium, that incredible statistic that has been talked about so much in the last couple of days. What about their performance so far, Steve, the men in the red and the blue?
Well, they haven't really settled into the game. They've showed their whole repertoire in all their plays, and they've lost the ball on a number of occasions. I think you'll find they'll settle down a little bit, and Lee Jackson will start to run from dummy half a bit more.
Andrew Johns. A long kick. And Mandruku coming off his own line. Look at the Newcastle chase. What was Andrew Johns doing? Was he looking for an intercept or what?
He took an air swing.
He certainly took something. Nagus off his left wing. Bombarded by Marquette. Newcastle inside the 10. Nagus has words with Beecham. No, it's against the defence for being too high.
Yeah, high tackle here once again. There was Andrew Johns doing a dipsy-doo-dah. That was a G-up.
Almost a windless night at Marathon. So there's no need to talk about the advantage of the breeze. Kennedy now. Steve Walters. Ferris. And that is Westley on in 15. Marquette tried to take him out.
Of course, we saw Westley last week involved in a pretty heavy head clash. Came back on, sporting the headgear. His hip covering up some stitches. Steve Walters scoots out of dummy half, but again, the market defence has been very good from both sides, really. Both hookers finding it difficult to find space.
Ferris, his kick on the 30-metre line. I think I'm right in saying they've had the ball in their hands in Newcastle territory on one occasion when Daly made the break, and we're looking at 17 minutes now. Canberra have had precious few seconds in possession in the opposition territory. Touch judge in.
Yeah, Quentin Congia here has gone forward with the head. Now, I don't know whether it's a headbutt, but it certainly looked like a deliberate action going through with the forehead. Of course, if it is a headbutt, then he'd be marched. The touch judge put the flag up straight away, rushed on, and it did look as though it was fairly deliberate. Beecham is the player tackled. There he goes up, puts the head under the chin of Beecham.
Mandruka had the claw going as well on the chin of Beecham.
Oh, not the claw, the claw.
The claw. 1-2.
Newcastle finding the line. 33 metres away from the Canberra line, and Beecham, who was involved in that scuffle up. Now Harragon running hard and strong up the centre. Jackson. Glanville turns his back on them. Johns back for Matthew. Beautiful ball. Ainsko. He was hit by Nandruko. 21 metres out from the Canberra line, and here's Butterfield. Slammed into the ground by Westley. Matthew John. His brother Andrew. Second man. Oh, Treacy. Picked off by Nagus.
These two wingers for Canberra doing a great job in defence. It's very risky to come in from out wide like that to try and nullify what the attacking team's trying to do, but it's working so far for Canberra.
Jason Burnham is on for Canberra. There have been some spectacular hits in this game. They're both very aggressive in the forwards. They're letting it all hang out tonight. Hetherington on the 40-metre line. Canberra making a break. This is Kennedy. Kennedy! 5 metres out from the line and a foot into touch.
Oh, and well done. A great break made by Canberra. Around the halfway. A beautiful ball from Ferris. A magic ball. Kennedy took on the fullback. He beat O'Davis with a great step. Marquette chases. It's the ankle tap by Beecham that slows him down, and Marquette's there to finish it off.
Now, I just wonder whether the second tackler coming in late and pushing him over the sideline, whether that should have been penalised.
I think it's all momentum there, Pete.
Oh, yeah, there's the foot that's gone in. Sorry, I thought that the player coming in on the blind side, the man responsible in taking him, but what a tremendous pass from the halfback from Canberra.
So Newcastle, for the second time in the game, threatened 2 clean breaks. It's the only time that Canberra, though, has been down here.
I think Tim Sheen's been feeling pretty good about himself and his team at this stage. In fact, they've held out Newcastle, who have had most of the ball in a good attacking position and haven't been able to cross the Canberra line. And Canberra, they've had the football. They've looked pretty good as well. As now another penalty goes. That's 6 penalties to 2 in favour of Newcastle.
71 tackles against Canberra, 55 for Newcastle. And that's been echoed on the field. As Newcastle now take it back into Canberra's territory through Glenn Grief. Andrew Johns, and a double man play from the forwards. Butterfield, Jackson, Andrew Johns, and now Matthews. A dummy, and then he picks up a runner out wide. B.Peden is on in 14 for Newcastle. They go across the park, and then O'Davis! Nagus came out on the line. It's away, and Grogan will score for Newcastle.
Well, Paul Morton pointed out what a great job the Canberra wingers were doing, but how dangerous it is to come in like that. And a beautiful backline move involving a lot of players from Newcastle opened up the overlap, and it was the second man cut-out pass. The freeze play there that's opened it up. There's the winger that's come in, and Robbie O'Davis in open space. He's got a winger on the outside. All of these players were decoys, and straight away Robbie O'Davis around Ken Nagus. Grogan did a great job to position himself on the inside. Nagus went for the ankle tap, but all the pressure has finally been justified on the scoreboard. Great ball.
Oh, what a great backline play that is. I would have practiced that for hours at training, and it's finally come off in this match against Canberra. And the beauty of that try is the width of the passes from the Johns brothers. It just opens up the whole field for them in a matter of seconds.
I thought Ken Nagus there at the end had a better tackle attempt on Brett Grogan than he came up with.
Andrew Johnson right in front adds the extras. And so Newcastle are leading Canberra after 23 minutes by 8 points to 0. Magnificent crowd. And Newcastle with the first try on the board at the 23rd minute. Scored by that man Grogan with his first touch of the ball. 23 minutes out there, hadn't seen the football. Glenn Grief put down on his own 30-metre line. From Jackson then, away from Glanville. And that is B.Peden.
And speaking of great crowds, they should get a beauty on Monday night at the Sydney Football Stadium.
Andrew Johns with a big kick down the ground, straight down to Mullins. And Mullins tries to run around them, but Ainscough has been very strong in defence tonight. 8:30 on Monday. Sydney City Roosters in Brisbane. The first night of Monday night football. And miles of entertainment for the crowd. Nandruku forced back, way back to the 30-metre line. Then Daly, and now Furner. Stone is on, Ferris is off. Walters into Stone now, and then for Burnham, and back across for Hetherington. It's Steve Stone getting that kick in. Ball rolling down. And Newcastle are going to have to pick it up and take it back with the try scorer Grogan. Played about 12 metres out from his line by O'Davis. And now Glanville to the halfway line. Oh, great run by the Newcastle back rower. Jackson, Matthew Johns, Andrew Johns, a cut out, Marquette, and go across. Oh! Nandruku is really coming in off his wing and causing havoc.
Oh, what a magnificent run by Glanville. He jogs back over to the scrum. When you get into the open like that, there's two choices you can do. You can either just put the head down and go for it, or have a look around. He didn't really look. He had a couple of little glances, but if he had just taken his time, O'Davis and also Jackson were coming. He did the right thing. They took the tackle.
You've got to give a rap too to Robbie O'Davis. He's having a wow of a game out there, supporting every player that's going upfield. That's a difficult thing to do. You go up 10 times, you might only get one result, but that's the important one. It's to keep fronting like he's doing.
Well, most of the time, Pete, when a player like Glanville gets into the open, they'll slow down, look around for support. On that occasion, I think he did the right thing in going for it and just trying to beat the fullback. And you've got to wait for the backup people to get to you rather than slow down.
So Canberra crossing the halfway line with Pongia. Steve Roach is there more in it than Jason Ferris just having a rest. They don't normally give halfbacks a rest.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. I just think that they sent Steve Stone out there to organise a little bit better. I've noticed a couple of times he's gone into dummy half. They might use Steve Walters as a running forward.
There's Wiki now working with Nandruku. Both Canberra wingers have been channeling in off their wings and causing, I guess, great headaches for the Newcastle ball carriers.
Which is very unusual for Canberra. They like to slide in defence. As the ball goes to Daly, puts a high bomb up towards Grogan's wing. And he's made a real meal of it. Ranson has ruled that it's gone. Now it's a knock on here, so it'll be a Canberra feed.
So the advantage goes to Canberra. There's a lovely piece of play here. Good piece of football from Andrew Johns. Getting behind Grogan there to give him some support in case the crumbs come. He ends up with the crumbs, but there's a knock on there from Grogan.
So, another opportunity. A penalty goes against Newcastle. Against Andrew Johns for getting offside at the scrum base.
Steve Stone actually tried to take the quick tap. It's been called back by the referee.
I put it to you, how is what Andrew Johns just did at this time in the match any different than what Brad Fittler did at the end of the match last Friday night? 10 metres out from the Newcastle line then. Played by Quentin Pongia. Stone. Hetherington. 12 metres out in the centre of the park. And Hetherington, I don't know that yes, he can. Thought he couldn't play the ball. Stone. Now Daly! Daly! Can he get rid of it? Daly a metre from the line. Stone was at dummy half. Now Walters. Burnham. Burnham's kick over the dead ball line.
Well, Laurie Daly, he's proving to be the real thorn. So strong. The big fend put him through, and Robbie O'Davis, with another Newcastle defender, came up with a try saver. That's really the first time that the Knights have been under pressure in their own 20-metre area. They did look a bit vulnerable.
This is Beecham. Andrew Johns now gives Grogan another opportunity, but Nagus was able to get across in time. B.Peden. Back in 1994. I remember this match was a runaway win for Canberra, 52 points to 16, and I think Mullen scored 4 tries that night. It's obviously not going to go that way tonight, as Nandruku comes from his own 10-metre line.
Taken low there by number 17 for Newcastle, Troy Fletcher. Final interchange player for Newcastle to be used. Both coaches. Plenty of freshmen out there at times as DeVico takes the charge.
Hetherington seems to have recovered. Walters now. Oh, Walters picked up and driven. Matthew Johns earns a pat on the back from his captain. And now Stone with a grubbing kick. And finding touch just inside the 40-metre line.
Well, again, I don't see a great deal of sense in kicking like that. He's found touch 40 metres out. That's Matthew Johns not falling for the dummy of Steve Walters. But now the scrum will be set 38 metres out from Newcastle's line. They'll win the scrum, and all that kick has done is picked up probably 20 metres, but given away possession in good field position.
So Newcastle repeating, scored the only try of the match at the 23rd minute. Brett Grogan was the try scorer. Johns has added the extras. As Pongia and DeVico wrap up the runner, Fletcher. B.Peden. Jackson. Johns. 31.5 minutes gone. Now it's Matthew Johns turning it on the inside. Marquette gets it away from Davis. Just inside the 20-metre line. Newcastle on the attack now. Matthew Johns with a long pass to his brother. He puts the kick in. Was he taken late? Nandruku comes away with it. Nandruku put away. The touch judges come in though for the late tackle.
Well, both of them have. One from the other side as well.
We have David Furner and 13
These angle running decoy plays from Newcastle really are serving up to Canberra. So here's the kick. It's high, it's a bit late. That's why all the men in blue are there.
So Manson is giving the penalty at the spot where the ball landed. And he's also indicated it was the height of the tackle rather than the lateness. I prefer to think that it might have been for a late tackle rather than a high tackle. I thought it struck him across the chest area, the upper chest. 8-0 at the 33rd minute. Penalty 7-3. Newcastle's way. 101 tackles to 81 tackles. So Canberra have been asked to make 20% more tackles than Newcastle. And Andrew Johns from almost the same place that he kicked his first penalty from. 15 in, 20 out. Strikes it. Looks good. Oh, never varied from the line. 10-0 in Friday Night Football, the home side in front. This crowd here at Marathon watching their team leading comfortably at the moment. And it probably is a fairly good indication of what's happened out there, but Canberra have not had anywhere near the opportunities of Newcastle. So even now, I don't know that Tim Sheens would be starting to panic all that much.
Ray, I think he'll praise his players to a large degree at half-time, and the beauty for Canberra is, despite the fact they've been under siege for basically the whole first half, they are close enough.
Harragon playing it back for Jackson, and Jackson sweeps it away for Matthew Johns, and he tries to work a couple of dummies before trying to go himself. He just slipped over in the final analysis. And his brother kicks it down to Nandruku. And Noah comes away from the sideline. And Beecham and Ainsko are there. And Jackson comes in to lend his weight. And Manson has given a penalty. I fancy that he has said held.
Yeah, it had to be a penalty. Jackson came in 5 minutes after he was called held.
Ainsko has come out of it injured. He's out of the field of play. He's about to make the comment that I made earlier. Ainsko continues to feature very strongly in defence. He's playing left centre defence. Ruben Wiki reaches the halfway line. Harragon comes over the top of Glanville's tackle. Walters goes across for Stone to give it on. That is Burnham. Stone one more time. Daly looking for Furner. There's Furner. Stone finding himself a dummy half more often than not. And Walters looking to do some running as Furner now from dummy half. Goes away and then gets it back, and Newcastle come up with it. B.Peden, then did he lose the ball getting up to play it?
Well, that was poor play from David Furner. It was last tackle. He took off out of dummy half. There was a lot of traffic there, and he threw a pass out the back, trying to keep it alive. Again, just gave away possession.
Harragon grimacing as he came to the defence line. Jackson, John, Matthew, and put down by Burnham. Incredibly, Brad Godden just a couple of seconds ago got his first touch in the game. Playing in the centres, nearly a half a football gone. Mandruku running straight at them. Put away on the 20-metre line. Mullins up from the back. His form has been under the scrutiny of the critics in recent weeks. It's against Fletcher, Newcastle player, for releasing the ball from Mullins in his attempt to play it. Penalty's been taken and they come across to the centre of the ground to find David Westley giving it off for Brett Mullins. Mullins is 42 metres out now. Walters, Stone, behind Burnham, picking up Furner. Furner for Kennedy. Kennedy so close to the sideline, and then Wiki. Stone. Westley back in the centre again. Twice then he has probed down the centre on this set of 6. Here he is again. Then Burnham, now Kennedy! Kennedy! He'll make it this time! Young Ben Kennedy scores for Canberra!
And a timely try it is for the Raiders. Said they were close enough at 10-0 and possibly 10-6. We'll be very happy with that. Good work here from Steve Walters going back front, coming back. He frees it there. It's just good support play by these Canberra players coming in behind the ruck. That's attracting these Newcastle defenders in. And then you'll see it's just beautiful offloading. Kennedy through the gap. Despairing dive by Beecham. He'll be disappointed with that attempt, Robbie O'Davis, but he is a find, this Ben Kennedy. Very limited rugby league experience, but he'll get better.
It wasn't a set play, it's just the fact that Steve Walters found some men who are willing to run onto the football. And this kid, Rabbits, loves him, loves calling him. He's a great young kid. That's twice he's beaten O'Davis with that right foot step. And no one more deserving on the field to get a try than he.
Tremendous try, and Furner converts it. Practically on half-time it came. Kennedy, he was almost home and over earlier, and now he grabs that elusive try right on half-time. This is how it happened. All the enthusiasm of youth as he dives in and picks up the try for Canberra. So the siren now, and David Manson calls a halt. So
1996 will be played here at Marathon Stadium next Friday night, where the National Rugby League Fijian side will take on Australia, 8:30 p.m. Check your local guides. The Fijian side parading in front of the ground here at Marathon, and they've got quite a good ovation, a big test for the players, of course. But I know that the Australians are really looking forward to competing in that game, and hopefully a similar crowd to what we see here tonight, and Noel Cleal coaching the Fijian side. But tonight here at Marathon Stadium, despite dominating the first half, Newcastle only have a 4-point lead at the break, 10 points to 6 over the Raiders. And statistically, well, they've had all the possession the Knights, plenty of uses of the football. Quite surprisingly, the line breaks favour Canberra 3-2, so that shows how dangerous they are with the football in their hands. And the handling errors is very, very good. Two quality football sides, Paul Morton. But as we pointed out, coming up to the half-time break, despite the barrage of possession and pressure they've absorbed, Canberra will be fairly happy with the half-time scoreline.
I think Tim Sheens will be ecstatic with the way they played in the first half. Not too many chances for them, but they made the most of them and got the try just before half-time. But it's been an enthralling battle, lots of good hits, lots of good hard running, and the Newcastle side playing some great football.
And the first 20 minutes, no doubt it was all Newcastle, and they looked like they'd put the first try on. A beautiful kick from Matthew Johns, and Robbie O'Davis chasing so well as he does. An excellent ruling by the adjudicators in this game.
Yeah, Robbie gets to it first, above Brett Mullins, but as we see here on the replay, it's just he doesn't ground it. When he gets to the football, he's got to take it down with him. He does that, but right here, it goes loose. Brett Mullins' leg actually gets in the way and almost hooks the ball out. and they're claiming the try, the Newcastle boys. Manson was unsighted, but he gets the ruling off the judge, and no try.
Yeah, all the pressure coming from Newcastle, but as was the case last Friday night against the Roosters, Laurie Daly is the shining light. Every time he touches the football, looks dangerous, and he was the first man to make a bust for Canberra. Unfortunately, at the end, he found a Newcastle player.
Well, when he runs, he's so dangerous, he's so powerful, he's a great runner of the football, and this came more through a slip from D.Treacy than anything, but he's beautiful to watch in the open, and that intercept there, Andrew Johns, is always on the spot, isn't he?
Newcastle very keen to go to their back line. They have a lot of decoy runners out there. You made the point that the Canberra wingers were making the option sometime of coming in to make the tackle. That worked for a couple, but eventually Newcastle found some space, and again O'Davis featured heavily.
Well, it's always a gamble when wingers do that. They take the punt, but on this occasion, the punt didn't pay off. These great long balls, you know, they cut out like 50 metres of the field there, and they find Robbie O'Davis running into fresh air, well backed up by Harragon, a beautifully timed pass. O'Davis got hammered, but all to no avail for the Canberra side, with Harragon getting it right under the stick set.
With a couple of penalty goals from Andrew Johns, the score was 10-0 then. 38 minutes gone, Canberra ran in a try, which may prove to be a turning point in this game. Tremendous. Well, they got a penalty, and then they just showed what they can do with any amount of space.
Pete, they played very well in the first half, Canberra, despite having limited possession. But this will give them great heart. They came through a Steve Walters scurry. Now, they just found support. Newcastle were outnumbered on this blind side. They just didn't have enough troops there. O'Davis, I mean, I can't blame him for that. He should have got him, but you know, he's a very talented kid, this Ben Kennedy. Great right foot step there, and he's having an absolute blinder for the Canberra side. Canberra aren't out of it, Pete.
No, not at all. That converted try really sets up a great second half. 10-6 at the break. And tomorrow, another good game shaping up from the Parramatta Stadium, where the Eels take on North Sydney. That's at 4 p.m. But again, check your local guides. A Sunday footy show. Plenty of people coming in, and two co-hosts coming in to help Paul Vorton, David Furley and Gary Freeman. And on Monday night, a tremendous clash to kick off Monday night football sees the Sydney City Roosters up against Brisbane. That's at 8:30 p.m. We look forward to that one. And next Friday night, as we pointed out, the test match here at Marathon Stadium in Newcastle, Australia up against the National Rugby League Fijian side at 8:30 p.m. Plenty of sport also coming up on our Wide World of Sports programs, and this is the menu for this weekend.
Join Max Walker and Aussie Test skipper Mark Taylor.
And welcome back. As Newcastle take us into this second half of play, and they're in front by 4 points. One try apiece, and the Canberra try coming at the 39th minute. Canberra in that first half, of course, was subjected to making around 20% more tackles. And certainly they were on the wrong side of the scales as far as territory was concerned, and the penalty count was also becoming rather alarming for coach Tim Sheeds. So Canberra then on their first set of 6 and bringing it out in the early minutes of the second half. Steve Walters it is. This kick going down and bouncing away rather awkwardly originally for Robbie O'Davis. Now O'Davis coming away from his 20-metre line. Daly underneath and Wiki over the top. Hasn't been an easy match for referee David Manson. There's been some fairly close calls for him. With Newcastle now back up to their 30-metre line, and Jackson runs from dummy half. Something that he hasn't done a lot of. As now Andrew Johns goes over to find his captain Paul Harragon, and Kennedy is there, brings him down together with Ferris. Matthew Johns, another dummy half run. Pongia bringing him down. Tackle number 5. As Newcastle plan their kicking game, and it's a chip and chase from Andrew Johns, and a kick then by Marquette, who was offside. Very good ruling by David Manson, is applauded by Laurie Daly.
Yes, well, if Marquette stays out of this, there's a chance for the Newcastle side to score a try. Andrew Johns, he was going to kick deep. When he fumbled, the Canberra defence came up quickly, then he saw the opportunity. Marquette's in front of him, but Johns is steaming through. He would have got to the football, no doubt about it.
Canberra getting the benefit of that penalty. Pongia taking it out just beyond the 40-metre line. And now Uvico right on the 40-metre point. They've just given a crowd of about 21,000. That comes as a A major shock to most people here at the ground, I think. Those that have seen big crowds at Marathon Stadium in the past. Kennedy there. 48 metres away from the Newcastle line. Canberra trailing by 4 points. A Stone runs away, and then an angled run by Furner. It goes astray, and Newcastle come up with it. So on the first tackle, Grogan takes play into Canberra's territory. Then from Jackson, his pass looked rather suspect to Marquette. Marquette there, 35 metres away. Glanville has made a couple of incisive runs. Ainscough got away from Ruben Wiki, steps away from another. Beecham is there, but Beecham goes down under the weight of the tackle. 15 metres out from the line, they come back, and away it goes from Matthew Johns to his brother. Then a lovely pass on for Grogan. Oh, great tackle, brings him down. Nagus it was, and now through from Andrew Johns. A long ball for Matthew, a short pass for Harragon. A handoff to Matthew Johns. A floating pass goes out on the full. Beautiful stuff by Newcastle.
Well, what about these passes from these Johns boys? The one from Andrew was an absolute corker to Grogan. He couldn't get there. Sensational tackle by Nagus. And then the other side, there was plenty of space. The short ball first up. A good offload by the Chief. He had about 4 or 5 options there. Matthew Johns maybe chose the wrong one.
I just wondered there, yeah, Paul, you talk about the good cutouts, and the one on this side was, but they had 4 on 2. If they'd have gone through the hands, you'd think that they'd have scored the try.
Wiki now. With Canberra now, bringing them away off their own line. Steve Roach at half-time, what were you able to find out?
Yeah, well, Malcolm really wants his side to do the hard work early. Go forward in the first couple of rucks. They're inside defence. He said, don't relax. Lazy markers caused that try right on half-time. He said he wants to improve that area of their game. He said, be patient, don't try and score off every play. And that come to fruition just then when they went into touch there for that long ball. For Canberra, the markers have got to work a lot better because Newcastle are getting a lot of their inside backs out to scoot, which puts pressures on the markers. When they kick, Tim Sheens wants his team to kick long and try and find yardage down to get good field position. Newcastle have had all the ball in the first half. They're right in this one, Canberra believe, and they've got to go on and take this game in the second half.
Thank you, Steve. This is Robbie O'Davis now. His own 40-metre line, and Glanville pulled down by the marker. David Furner, a second tackle coming in. Referee Manson ruling that that wasn't necessary. Tackle had already been affected by Furner. Watch it. Player is tackled, and there's no need for Hetherington, and that's why Manson has penalised Canberra. So the Knights with Jackson sending Butterfield down just beyond the 30-metre line. And then Andrew Johns in a second man play. Finishes up with Harragon. Harragon, the ball coming loose. Canberra picks it up. They'll try and hurt them. Daly, oh! Kennedy! Somehow or other he finished up with it. Plays it now on the halfway line. Stowe, cross for Furner. Dummies to Hetherington. Goes out across the face of Folivai. Nagus sprinting down the wing. And Nagus eventually held. 10 metres out from the Newcastle line. No marker. He plays it back now. Stone. Then for DeVico. Now for Daly. Mullins is in the back line. Mullins gets it away. Nandruko. He gets it down. Let's wait for it. It's a try, all right. Nandruko.
Great attacking work there from Canberra. Like we saw from Newcastle the other end, side-to-side stuff. Steve Stone started it by picking up the loose ball from Paul Harragon. Bad defence there from Brett Grogan. He allowed Nagus on the outside. Fortunately, Glanville came across, but then Newcastle were fairly slow to reform. You see out wide, the long cutout pass from Laurie Daly is a good one. Brett Mullins, so much speed. Outside Ainscough, tremendous take from Nandruku. He just went straight through Keith Beecham.
Great game, isn't it, this one? It's a corker. Some wonderful stuff here from Canberra. This try shouldn't have been scored. Comes down to a missed tackle. 2 on 2 on the end. And Beecham sort of had half his body turned. A really good, strong run there by Nandruku.
He's a great finisher, Noah Nandruku. That's his 12th try for the year It takes him to level with Steve Renoff, and that catch by Kennedy was miraculous.
Well, there were two brilliant pieces of play in there. That one from Kennedy to catch that ball, and when Harragon dropped the football, Steve Stone scooped the ball up in the one motion to his support players to get that movement flowing.
Having recognised the prowess of the Canberra attack, Insko made his tackle and then fell off that tackle to try and help Beecham. So he's done all he could. Furner's kick is across the face of the uprights. So we are locked up at Marathon, Newcastle and Canberra, 10 points all. Back at Marathon, and as Paul Vorton said just before the break, this is a good game of football. Big defence, and some thrilling attack. Canberra now looking to bring it from their own danger area. They've got Steve Collins on in jumper number 16 now, as Luke DeVico drives the attack straight at the shoulder of Tony Butterfield. Walters now.
Steve Roach on the last tackle here. Both sides like to go their back lines, but I think the front row clash has been absorbing with the four starting props out there.
Yeah, certainly has. I've been really impressed with Quinton Pongia. Only one mistake from him, that headbutt early in the game, but he's really inspired his forward teammates. Luke DeVico's played well. The Chiefs run well for Newcastle, and obviously Tony Butterfield's played well too. So, no, it's been a very good game so far, Pete. I just think that Newcastle are trying to score off every play. That's their biggest problem.
Davis, and now Jackson turned inside for Treacy to give it back for O'Davis, and Pongia and Kennedy. He put the small Newcastle fullback away. Now Treacy, they're good yards. He's got play inside the 20-metre line now. They come back to the right for Andrew Johns to work with Harragon, and then Matthew. Then there's that winger coming in again. And they've come up with the football, but the referee will order the knock-on.
That was a pedestrian play from Newcastle. They telegraphed it a long way out. The run around between Johns and Harragon was fairly ineffective. And the pass from Johns really put a lot of pressure on his outside support.
Brad Godden and Jamie Ainsko, when they're having a sleep tonight, they'll be seeing blokes like Nandruku and Nagus coming at them from nowhere. Ainsko slides the pass for Beecham, but it's gone forward.
Oh yes, danger there for the Canberra side. Beecham thought he was away. He's pulled down by a good tackle from Wiki in the end. Ainsko, it's a rare Daly miss. And there was the pass judged to be forward.
Stone ready for this ball to come out. There it is, and then somebody tried to put it back in the scrum. Now he's ordered a knock on. David Manson will now give the feed to Newcastle,
who are getting set for a big backline play.
Ainsko came up at 5/8, and Matthew Johns put away by Daly. Daly slid in defence to mark up on Matthew Johns. Now Marquette. Furner in 12. Hetherington 11. Jackson is 9 for Newcastle. Offloading for Glanville, the former St George player. Put down on the 20-metre line. Now it's for Andrew Johns. He puts it in behind them. Mullins has to hurry. Then he tries to get back. Mullins, daring play. And now driven into the ground is Collins.
Oh, the big chief, Paul Harragon, has come up with a bone rattler. Great play from Mullins. Did marvellously well to beat two defenders. There's the kick from Andrew Johns. Mullins in good position. Andrew Johns comes through after his own kick with a strong tackle. The offload, that's daring, but bang. Paul Harragon.
18 and 11 for Paul Harragon. There's Daly now. Gives the ball back to Newcastle. And that's what Brett Mullins was trying so gallantly to avoid Harragon now. Just inside the 40-metre line. And Treacy. Newcastle setting it up one more time. I wonder, will there be more adventure in this attacking spree as Harragon gets rid of them. And then Treacy finds himself working up the centre. I don't know that they're capitalising on some of the work that Harragon is providing for them. Butterfield. Daly is calling anxiously on the other side of the park. And there was a knock-on, says Manson, so he'll put a scrum down.
Very clumsy play the ball from Tony Butterfield. Being held down, but as he gets to his feet, all slammed down and lost control of.
So Ferris is back on in 7. Record weekend in footy tab discussions. The pool for Pick the Margins, you'll be interested to know, it eclipsed $2 million. It started at just short of 900,000 today, and it's gone past the 2 million mark. That is an all-time record, and it's beaten the previous record by almost $1 million.
And I'm just wondering how many people are sitting out there with Newcastle Canberra a draw.
Daly kicks, he's looking for the wingmen. Oh, Robbie O'Davis! He really had to put his body on the line.
Gutsy stuff there by O'Davis.
Harragon, quick passing across the line. They're trying to get to the extremes of the ground, and Ainsko held there by Collins. B.Peden comes back in, but runs into Ruben Wiki. Well, that's a terrible play the ball by Keith B.Peden. Penalty goes to Newcastle. Just have a look at this. He puts it there, steps across the top of it.
He's penalised the Wiki for not standing straight on as the marker, but it's in the semi-finals, that one.
I think when David Manson looks at it back, he may think that the bloke playing the ball was just as entitled to be penalised as was Ruben Wiki. Now Glanville. Hetherington channeling in. No place for the faint-hearted this match. Jackson flicking it away, Matthew Johns, and then they run the crosses. Marquette away from Jackson again. And then Andrew Johns, and Andrew is put down. Desperate stuff by Canberra. 5th tackle. Now Matthew rolls it in. Canberra batted over the dead ball line to give it back to them.
That's concerted pressure here by Newcastle. Canberra haven't cracked yet. Getting plenty of possession, plenty of plays, some good kicks into the in goal. And so some more defence coming up for the Raiders.
Monday night, of course, don't forget the start of Monday Night Football for 1996. 8:30, Sydney City and Brisbane, and some extravagant at-the-ground entertainment as well. O'Davis.
And not a long drop out there. O'Davis takes it 25 out. Glenn Grief. Good charge on the right side of the ruck. 4 tackles left, 15 metres to travel.
Jackson for Glanville, then Jackson, then Andrew Johns. Andrew had the ball free. He was looking for a runner. Jackson, then Godden, Matthew Johns, bullet-like passing for Ainsko for B.Peden. B.Peden scores for Newcastle.
And Jamie Ainsko may have been pulled up for a forward pass last movement, but not so this time. And Keith B.Peden, who I think should have come up with a better tackle on Noah Nandruku, who scored one himself. So strong. Jamie Ainsko got around the outside of Laurie Daly, and B.Peden, he got the nose down and dived across in the corner.
Well, it's not Andrew Johns on one side, it's Matthew on the other. Magic ball. Steve Collins, the winger there, got himself into no man's, and B.Peden finishes that one off very well. He's having a great game too, Jamie Ainsko, tonight.
They're very involved this evening, and that's what Malcolm really would have been looking for. He's got on the outside of Laurie Daly on a couple of occasions, but as Paul pointed out, the winger got lost for Canberra. Keith Beecham, he juggled the football, nearly lost it. He did a good job to get it down in the corner with not much room to spare.
Tickets on sale and support the shops here at the stadium. The lunch shop and Stockland Mall.
Magnificent game of rugby league, this one.
This is one of the best I've seen all year. It's just fantastic rugby league. Lots of skill. The commitment's here from both sides, and you're calling so well.
Oh, shut up.
Outstanding, one of his best.
How good is he?
Andrew Jones from the touchline to try and convert the try scored by Keith Beecham. Here he is, the young number 7 coming around and dropping short. So here's the scoreboard, 14 points to 10 after 58 minutes of Friday night football. Channel 9 with Friday night football as we welcome you back to Newcastle's Marathon Stadium. 21,000 people, and I've still got to say I can't quite believe that. It looks like a much bigger crowd than that. Newcastle in front by 4. It's Glenn Grief. Go around the back for D.Treacy. Matthew Gidley is on in jumper number 23 now.
It's Robbie O'Davis leaving the field, and I think he's just about being Newcastle's best.
Yeah, Robbie's a bit crook, actually, Pete. He copped a knock a little while ago and hasn't really recovered.
It's Ken Nagus. Bustling run. O'Davis heading for the sheds. I don't think we'll be seeing any more of him tonight. Although he's only gone back now, I see, to the players' seats to get his dressing gown or whatever. Furner. Glenn Grief will want to be very careful. I thought he might have been there too long. Westley. What sort of prices are you prepared to bet here, Paul, on the outcome with 4 points in front for Newcastle? Mullins.
Well, the game was an even money bet tonight. Up here.
Well, that's one we're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
If you don't frame a market shortly, it'll be over. This is Gidley. Great. And now Beecham. Ooh, good out of it. And Andruku. Gee, they've been aggressive tonight, the Canberra wingers. And he's picked up Treacy around the head, and Treacy is hurt. You couldn't, I don't think you can place any blame here on Noah. And that's not showing any favour towards the man, but the player falls into his arms.
And Noah's actually playing in the centres now with Steve Collins on the wing.
Let's just check the reserve grade tonight. It went to Newcastle by 22 points to nothing as Hetherington comes off. And talking about footy tab, a pool of over 2 million, you would need Auckland by plus 13. They defeated the Rabbitohs 24 points to 10 in Auckland earlier tonight. Good news today for South as well, with that money from South Juniors, $4.5 million over 3 years. We'll see them fairly comfortable until at least the year 2000. Treacy, he's not happy, but persuading him to come from the field. That is Glenn Grief in number 15. The game gets back into stride once more, together with Paul Harragon. Westley driving in the headgear in 15. Andrew Johns with the clear just in front of the advancing Burnham for Canberra. Mullins. And that is Collins. In 16, they had to do a bit of reshuffling, Canberra, and they brought Fullervite off and Collins on. Nandruku. Thought for a moment he was going to be able to unload, and it would have been danger for Newcastle. They had so many players around the ball. Canberra have worked that out. They've gone quickly to the right, and there's the quick passing. Wiki was taken. I think Manson may have seen something in the tackle, but he's allowing play to go, and now the tackle is made down on the 30-metre line. Just thought for a moment Wiki might have been taken high, and he was playing an advantage. Burnham, Pongia. He's lost the ball. Newcastle, penalty to Canberra.
Yes, raked out there by the Newcastle defender. Keith Beecham did go high on Ruben Wiki. It was called play on. Now a bit of a quandary for the Canberra Raiders here. Do they kick for goal or kick for touch? Trailing by 4. It's not that difficult to kick. Laurie Daly opting for the latter. Finds touch 15 out.
9-7 the penalties flowing Newcastle's way as Pongia is held. Only about 5 metres away from the Newcastle line now. And now David Westley. Put down without any gain in ground. They lost a fraction. And then for Ferris. And Daly and Burnham and Daly. Daly's only just got the football. How he hung on to that and took the tackle, I'm not sure. But they lost a lot of ground. And there's Kennedy going down under the Newcastle defence. Stowe. Ferris comes from the open to the blind side. Nagus ridden into the ground by Grogan. The last tackle. Nandruko! He does it! Nandruko! He's put it down! It's a try!
Oh, that is freakish.
That is incredible stuff! 14 points all!
Nandruko gets his second, and this time on the other side of the field. Grogan's at marker, so too Andrew Johns. They both look like they're going the open, but Brad Godden here just didn't have the strength to hold out Noah Nandruko. He reaches out, and that's a magnificent effort.
The big claw. Have a look at this claw you were talking about earlier.
The claw again.
Claw's
Not
done
the
it.
claw, the claw.
It's a genius try by Nandruku. 3 Newcastle players there, couldn't do anything about it. And we've got another lock-up at 14 all.
I've got to say that the markers did go to sleep. Brett Grogan was standing upright. By the time that Nandruku had gone the blind, he got on the outside of him. I think you've got to be down low, alert, looking as though you're ready for anything, and Grogan wasn't at second marker.
Oh, that's wonderful stuff by Noah. Maybe inspired by the fact that the Fiji National Rugby League side is here as guests of Newcastle tonight. And Noah is really turning in one of his best games. Now, the pressure kick for David Furner. Churchill medalist 2 grand finals ago. And from the T-bar, and it's there! From the sideline, David Furner kicks the goal and puts Canberra in front.
Canberra, 16, Newcastle.
Well, that just about sums up this game. So close. Here for all intents that it was going to hit the upright, but it just swung late on the inside. And a great kick from David Furner. They snuck home last week, and they do it again.
Well, on Paul Vorton's reckoning, they have to win tonight.
This game tonight up here, eh?
Yeah, this game up here tonight, Peter, that's right, yeah. Westley, the one we're waiting for the market on. Walters.
Canberra just firmed.
DeVico playing it now. Just beyond his 20-metre line. Daly with a short pass. Furner joins in. Marquette is there. And Furner put down just outside the 30-metre line. So, looking at the statistics, and they don't always provide an accurate picture, but they would suggest that Newcastle has to be in front. Scoreboard says no. The last tackle, Burnham, Daly. Daly doesn't want to play the game down his own end. Not now, he doesn't. Or never does he, really. Now, this is Gidley. Oh, heavy stuff still going on in the game. Players launching themselves in defence. Brad Godden. Sharp will be watching this game. A great friend of the Newcastle players, recovering in hospital. Call to you, Alan, from the team. They asked me to do that. You probably felt better when they were in front, eh? Harragon. Jackson over the halfway. I haven't seen Jackson play for quite some time. His form is much better now than it was at the start of the season. Andrew Johns came off one of the Canberra players. It doesn't matter now because it's gone backwards and Nagus is with it. Just outside the 30-metre line. Of course, you know the player that probably is getting overlooked. Oh, look at this driving defence. In last week's effort and again tonight. And of course, he is of the superstar variety. And sometimes we go over the top of them looking for the best player. And of course, I'm talking about Laurie Daly. Davico.
I have to admit, Ray, even though they beat the Roosters last week, as Steve Wallace gets out of dummy half, I thought if you'd have taken Laurie Daly out of the side, there's no way they would have beaten the Roosters, even under those circumstances. And tonight he's been very strong again as Gidley, well positioned for the bomb, confronted by three defenders, pushes off one, shapes the pass, but thinks better of.
It was a good run by Beecham. Ending just inside his own 20-metre line. And that looks like Glanville. It is. Godden snuffed out. Grief. Here's the last. Johns. Beautifully positioned kick. Collins urgently back. Ooh, the Newcastle players have gone down. B.Peden and Paul Marquette. Canberra then. Newcastle can only have 11 players in the line. Although Peden is struggling back into the line now. Burnham. Daly stepping back. Delivering for Davico. Ridden by Ainscough.
The pace of this game starting to catch up with a lot of players now. They're starting to get a little bit tired, not coming up both sides of the ruck and failing to support the ball carrier.
This bloke's played well since he came on, Burnham. Haven't seen much of him, but tonight he's quite impressive. Daly, beautiful pass, finding Fulafai, turns it back inside. Newcastle with the ball, 40 metres out from their own line. Gidley. Glanville. Looks like, and there's still plenty of time on the clock, but that spell or hex, or call it what you like, might still be hanging over Newcastle. Friday night football at Marathon. They just can't win. Can they change it in the last 9 minutes? Andrew Johns. Glanville. Matthew Johns. Gidley.
The referee signals 6 again there, so this is only the second tackle just inside Canberra's half. It's been a while since they've been down this end of the field, and Glenn Grief takes it another 8 metres closer to the line.
40-metre line. Jackson. Now Butterfield. Can he slide it? No, he couldn't. I think that B.Peden had overrun him anyway. Now Harragon. One-handed back. Jackson took his eyes off it. Knocked backwards. Butterfield can't get to it. Now he can. 30-metre line. Jackson away for Andrew Johns. To the air. Now Beecham is offside. And Mullins didn't get much space. There's going to be a try appealed for, but it's a penalty. Now I don't know who Manson's going to call, but I'll tell you one thing, Beecham was in front of the kicker and came inside the 10.
Yeah, but he's saying that it's been knocked down by a Newcastle player, and then another Newcastle player who was offside has picked it up as he went over the try line.
And then B.Peden was held out of it momentarily by Mullins, so there were a number of infringements. And B.Peden seems to figure prominently in everything, but at the end of the day, he really didn't have a part to play. He was in front of the kicker and obviously came inside the 10. Davico. Luke Davico. Well, what's going to happen here? He said, play on. 40-metre line just behind them. The Raiders leading by 2. Daly with quick hands. Hetherington to play it. Or is it Furner? The latter. Kennedy scored a try, almost scored 2.
Yeah, he's been powerful tonight, Ben Kennedy. He's worked so hard in defence and he hits very well. Last tackle now against the Raiders.
Ferris. Now Collins is after it, and that ball is going to beat them all to the touchline. Might have something to do with the performance of Noah in particular. The Fijian National Rugby League team, as I mentioned earlier, here tonight with their coach, Noel Cleo, their manager, Hendrick. He's going to take us through the pronunciations at the end of next weekend's game. He's really had a high involvement rate for a winger tonight, Keith B.Peden. Harragon. Jackson. Glanville. Grief. The Knights 2 points in arrears. And about 5.5 minutes. Butterfield. Matthew Johns, his brother struggling to get onto his feet. A rebound and Furner is with it.
Matthew Johns in some trouble after kicking the football. B.Hetherington coming through, putting pressure on. As Mandruku struggles to find a couple of extra metres.
Steve Walters. Daly. Collins. Collins put down on the halfway line. Daly. Ferris. Just wondering what really was in the mind of Tim Sheens when he brought Ferris to the bench for quite a lengthy period of time. Just wondering what the prime reason was, as Daly finds the line. That will slow things down. And Matthew Johns is hobbling back into the 5/8 position. Good tactics by Daly. Slowing everything down. They get their defence line in order. And Newcastle have got 90 metres to go.
Yes, firstly it was Jason Ferris finding touch in that corner. Now Laurie Daly. I'll just be hoping to be strong in defence here, and that's exactly what Brett Mullins is from the scrum win. Force Newcastle to kick from in their own half, bring the ball back down, and then just kick the touch once again.
Peden. Scooped up by Grogan. Tackler was Kennedy. Jackson. Away from Gidley. And then for Johns. Oh, beautiful work. Godden gets it away. B.Peden down the left flank. And B.Peden is tackled inside the 30-metre line. This is the last tackle for Newcastle. Through the hands. Catch and pass again. Then the intercept attempt gives them 6 more. Mandruku might rue that play. On the 20-metre line. Andrew Johns away from Mandruku. Round the corner, then it's Gidley. Now it's away for Godden. Godden tackled 10 metres out. Newcastle, can they score? Here they come again with Butterfield. Butterfield put down. 8 metres out from the line. Jackson. Ainscough. Long pass. Taken on the half volley. And then it's been batted across to Beecham, but it's forward. Forward pass has been called.
Oh, this is a great game of footy. Semi-final stuff here. Ainscough throwing the cutout pass back across the ruck. Beautiful fingertip control here. B.Peden turned and passed. Also one from Gidley. And Beecham took the football. And Laurie Daly cover defending once again. Great attack, great defence. Andrew Johns, a beautiful slip pass to Brad Godden, who found Beecham on the outside. Noah Nandruka on the other side of the field gave away 6 again.
2 minutes left on the official clock. Canberra will soak up as much time as they can. Collins, it was, who played that ball. Steve Walters. Nandruku with 2 tries for Canberra tonight. Kennedy got a try for them as well.
Well, he has played some centre tonight, of course, Noah Nandruka, but I've never seen him involved in a game of rugby league like he's been tonight, as Laurie Daly is put under pressure.
Oh, he finds the line, Daly. And look at Daly. He's really pumped up and excited about what's happening there. Oh, you'd think he'd 140, Dad. We well might. Siren must be about to sound. In fact, David Manson, I think he's been reminded by the players. And it's all over. Canberra have won a magnificent game of football in front of 21,000 at Marathon. So this spell continues to hang over the home side. Now what is he saying? Everybody has congratulated one another.
The scrum's going down.
Now he's going to put the scrum down.
Tim Sheens is in shock. He can't believe it. Time off was called. This is the last throw of the dice.
So the kick down the ground. Collins is underneath it. As long as he doesn't fall over and make a voluntary tackle, he doesn't do that. And now it's over. World high drama. Unbelievable scenes. People have been congratulating one another now for a number of seconds. A false alarm. Tim Sheens doesn't look impressed. 16-14. Canberra over Newcastle. We'll break and come back with the Optus man of the match and Peter Sterling and Paul Vorton to wrap it up in just a moment. Here's a break and then we're back.
Bold were assured of a gutsy performance, a close finish and a little bit of controversy. But tonight here at Marathon in front of a big Novocastrian crowd, they defeated the Knights 16 points to 14, with Noah Nandruku scoring 2, Ben Kennedy the other, David Furner 2 from 3, one of those from the sideline to win the game. And for Newcastle, Grogan Beecham scored 4 pointers, Andrew Johns 3 from 4, and a tremendous game of football, a great finish, and a man who was involved in absolutely everything has taken out our man of the match. He is with Steve Roach.
The $1,000 man of the match from Optus goes to Noah Nandruka. Noah, you probably best describe that game as desperation for the Raiders.
Yeah, the boys were coming today. It's a little bit nervous from all the boys. That's why you come to play here for. We know it will be a tough game for us.
Yeah, you had to win that one to stay in contention with the top 8, so it was a good win.
Yeah, we're training all week, and Tim Sheens told us that we have to go for another 3 if you want to go to the top 8.
Bit of an extra effort for your Fijian mates today. They were all over there in the right-hand corner watching you.
Yeah, I showed them before I came in, and I just want to show them that came here. It's very hard to play in the rugby league in Australia. They have to come here, play for Fiji, to fight for the best, fight for the country.
Okay, mate, go and enjoy it.
Thank you.
Yeah, scored 2 tries. Noah won a miraculous effort down a very short blindside. He just launched himself at everything tonight, Paul.
Yeah, the blinder Noah, as did Ben Kennedy. He was runner-up in the Man of the Match award. A great gutsy win by Canberra, one of the best of their season. And you come back to that David Furner conversion from the sideline. What a beauty.
I also think that the try just before half-time was probably the turning point. If the Knights had gone in 10-0 in front instead of 10-6, it might have been a different ball game.
Yeah, the Knights played pretty well, but sometimes I feel they're trying to outsmart themselves or they out-option themselves. They got so many great players, but instead of just going forward, they're looking for the miracle balls, and it didn't come off tonight.
Well, we've spoken about footy tab tonight, record dividend up for grabs, and the pick the score 16-14, $104.85. And tomorrow we're off to the Parramatta Stadium to see the Eels up against North Sydney. That's at 4 p.m. Monday night, the start of Monday night football sees the Sydney City Roosters up against Brisbane at 8:30 from the Sydney Football Stadium. And next Friday night we're back to Marathon for the Test match, Australia up against the National Rugby League Fijian side at 8:30 p.m. But check your local guys. Tremendous game of football here once again. Canberra sneaking home. They moved to 15 points and one closer to the top 8. But for now, on behalf of the entire wide world of sports rugby league team from Newcastle, it's bye for now.
Nandruko! He does it! Nandruko! And from the T-bar, and it's there!
This has been another presentation of 9.